This is Quantum Flow Radio, organizing thought particles into a flow of collective consciousness.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm not here today.
I'm looking. I see you. I hear you.
I'm just an illusion.
Oh, we're
See?
going there today.
My reality today,
Yes, is illusory.
I'm somewhere else.
Yeah. A place you want to be?
On the beach. Anywhere.
Yeah, well, I'm staring at a fireplace right now. So,
Okay, yeah.
You know,
In the mountains.
You do the beach, I'll do the mountains, and the
Yeah.
fireplace. We'll be fine. Because you know why? Because we can create our own reality.
Yes.
And that's what we're talking about today, isn't it?
What is reality?
Yeah, man, this
That's
is deep.
Yeah. We always say it's deep and it's a big topic, but
Yeah.
this is a big topic.
It is
'cause-
a big topic. It's bigger than both of us.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
all
Or it could
encompassing.
just be one of us, and that's it.
And it could just be one.
See, yes. So that's the beautiful thing about this discussion about reality.
Mm.
It's so hard to quantify.
Yeah.
And what is it? And where is it?
Yeah. It's the what I learned years ago called wopens. Wopens are who, what, where, when, why, and how. Questions you can't answer with a yes or no. And so these are
I've
all
got a lot of whoopings.
Yeah. So these are all wopens.
And each day that goes by, I got more whoopings than I know what to do with. But
Well, usually we start off with some type of a definition.
Sure,
Just so
yeah.
we can look at some definitions and etymology. So I'll
can.
let you lead us into that.
sure, I'm happy to define reality as it is defined in some book.
Yeah, by some
But
guy.
by some guy
Yeah.
who, it's all subjective. But
Right.
I'm going to ask a few questions first, and then we'll go into the definition.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I've already asked the big question: what is reality?
Yep.
And we ask that with a little bit of humor because
Yeah.
it's so
Because
hard.
we'll spend the next hour trying to define something that's indefinable.
Or telling really bad jokes. But is this real or an illusion? Or I think one band might have asked the question: is this real or fantasy?
Ah,
I think that was bad company.
it was.
Are we living in a matrix?
Mhm.
These are the questions that we're going to try to tackle, okay? And, perhaps, our human senses are deceiving us. Maybe existence is an illusion and reality isn't real. And that sounds like mumbo jumbo, philosophical type talk that, you hear these philosophers espouse and say, oh, yes, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah, but I love it. I'm just looking
Sure,
for
yeah.
a piece of chocolate cake and some coffee right now.
Sounds good. I'll take mine with milk.
There you go.
The idea that everything is merely a construct of our mind is just a construct.
And not even our mind, but just mind in
Mind,
general.
yeah. So we'll get into the different types of whether this is happening to you alone, or is this a collective conscious happening?
Right.
Big stuff.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah. Deep.
So let's define it. Reality. Okay, and if you look it up, this is
Standard fare.
yeah, standard fare, right? So the world on
Of
this
the state of things.
You're reading my mind. The world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea. Of
Notional. Notional is a good word.
It is. It's not used nearly enough
No.
in our vocabulary. It could also be the state or quality of having existence or substance. So, and then
Material. that
yeah,
kind of
yeah. So the actual state.
Yeah.
What we can manifest. But reality is the sum or aggregate of all that is real or existent. As
Providing you can prove what is real.
there you go again. But I like when you do that because we have to keep asking questions.
Yeah.
I think the more questions we ask, the more we'll maybe come to some conclusions, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is it real or existent as opposed to that which is merely just imaginary? So that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, and imaginary is important too because there's also a definition, a sub-definition that says a thing that exists in fact having previously only existed in one's mind.
Yes.
So it's this circular snake eating its tail thing.
I have a feeling I'm going to be thoroughly confused by the end of the.
I already am. That's why we do this show.
But we're going to bring clarity to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. When we think of things in terms of physical reality, right?
Yep,
I see you there.
you do.
I see the chair you're sitting in,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks all real and solid.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go up and touch it.
Yeah.
But is it really there? Because when you define it, when you really go down on the quantum level
Right.
of things,
Yes.
we know that the atom,
Yep.
and we're getting very scientific here, but we have to put this out there. The atom
Mm.
is pretty much what? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's 99.99999%
Void.
void of nothing.
Yeah.
So how does nothing make something?
That's a very interesting question. And I've pondered that for years. I actually got sort of an answer to that, but we'll get to that.
Well, you're gonna leave me hanging.
Well, nothing.
I feel like a hanging Chad.
Yeah, we might have
Either punch me
touched
through
on this.
or
Well, we might have touched on this
Tape
in the
me
past,
back.
but the word nothing that we use today,
no.
no thing, okay, means in reality unmanifest. Okay?
Yeah.
So there's no thing. Okay, so those things technically are nouns, not things, but we use the word thing for things.
Right.
So this nothing or no thing, looking back in earlier languages, for example, in Greek, voithi, which was where we get void from, and in the Hebrew, in the ancient Hebrew, a word called ayin. And ayin is translated many times, particularly throughout Scripture, as the word nothing into English. However, ayin is not what we consider nothing to be today. What it is it's the source point of unlimited, unbounded potentiality.
And also the centerpiece of Nietzsche's theory
Yes.
of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we can get something from nothing if we consider the actual true meaning of the word, meaning
No thing.
no thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's all part of the process of cause and effect, and everything begins in mind and then manifests into matter,
Yeah, and not
which is still energy.
yeah, and not to jump too far ahead, but
Yeah.
everything is energy.
Yes.
And that's really kind of maybe the part of the conclusion here is that when you finally analyze this and dissect it
Yeah.
all down
Yeah.
to what reality is, it could just be consciousness and energy.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's
In
that's
motion.
that's a heavy load to think.
Yeah, in motion.
Yeah.
There's a philosophical definition for this, which I wanted to touch on real
Sure.
quick while we're on the defining part of this. In philosophy, this reality is existence that is absolute, self-sufficient, or objective, and not subject to human decisions or conventions. That's the philosophical definition.
That's just really one slant on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Whoever wrote it.
Yeah, whoever wrote it.
Yeah.
But there is something there. But I find there's so many different ways to attack this
Yeah.
subject. You can come at it from so many different ways.
Yeah.
And you can come at it from, God-centric or you-centric.
Right.
That's the other.
Or both.
Or both.
Yeah.
Maybe there is I always felt that there is a definitive connection there that you can't really separate that.
No, you can't.
So
Inseparable.
right. So
Agreed.
here's another question for you. How can we be certain that the universe around us actually exists? I mean, how can we know that the world we see matches what everyone else is experiencing?
Yeah, and at a basic level, you mentioned a few moments ago that you could see me sitting in this chair. Okay, and you see the chair.
Because
and
I have
you
my
see that
glasses
it's-
on.
Right, and you see that it's, I guess, from what someone has determined a very long time ago, the color gray. Even though we're not really seeing colors, we're seeing frequencies, and then the brain converts them to hues, which actually adds the color. But now we're going into another.
Are you
place.
sure that chair is gray because it looks blue to me?
Yeah, see, so that's the whole thing. It's like what you see and what I see,
Yeah.
particularly with our senses,
The five senses are deceiving us.
they are deceiving us, and they are different for each and every one of us.
Right.
Because that shirt that you're wearing, it might have pinstripes. It might not. And if it does, are they gray pinstripes or are they white pinstripes?
Yeah.
Is it a white shirt with gray stripes
Yeah.
or a gray shirt with white
And
stripes?
then you'll just do a bell curve of, you'll take a survey
Yeah.
and say, is this gray
Yeah.
or blue?
Right.
And you see, is it or is it not?
Yeah.
And then you see, how people may
Right.
perceive it. And some people may say, oh, it's neither.
Mm-hmm.
They're off the bell curve.
Yeah.
but that's the way.
And all
Reality
of that
might
is
be.
only because somebody determined a long, long time ago, whatever that color is, we're going to call it gray. So then when you're born and you're growing up and you learn words and you begin to identify with things, your parents tell you, oh, yeah, that's gray. Pick up the gray ball or whatever, the gray glass. And then all of a sudden it's gray. But if you were raised in a society where you were taught that was blue, then it would be blue. But it's still the same color. We're just labeling it different. And so, getting back to reality again, isn't it also a series of labels that we place on things?
Yeah.
So it's a deep subject. I think we mentioned that.
True
before.
that.
True that. Also, I know you have more stuff there, but just real quick, etymology, because I'm a wordsmith. I love the etymology. So going back,
Bring it.
On this quality of being real. Okay, directly from the French and from the medieval Latin. Okay, it is a real existence, all that is real, the real state of something. Okay, reality based, which is very interesting to me because it still doesn't define what is real.
No. In fact, in all this work,
Yeah,
I find myself just adding more speculation and uncertainty to, what really is reality.
Right.
Can you use the word real in describing reality? I guess you almost have to.
yeah.
It's so out there that it's just really hard to find.
Exactly. I love looking up words where, in the dictionary, where if you look up philosophical, it'll say having to do with philosophy.
Yes.
Well, that's not a definition.
No.
What if you don't know what philosophy is?
The first thing you learn in elementary school is you can't use the word in the definition,
Right.
or even a portion of the word, really.
Right.
Yeah.
But they do it all
But
the
they
time.
do it all the time, especially when it comes to stuff they really don't know what they're talking about. We're going to drill down a little bit. We'll talk about physical reality first, and then we'll talk about maybe more of the holographic nature of things.
Yeah.
So
the Newtonian versus quantum.
Yeah. So fundamental reality, like per scientists, is based on quantum mechanics.
Yep.
And this is through scientific experimentation, So
Evidence.
well, through however they're trying to experiment on this. And this is hard because we know that the conscious mind can affect things.
Sure.
But the realm of many unique and strange occurrences is basically is what they're observing. It's like, why does this happen? And then they find out maybe the act of observation affects everything, especially in the physical reality. And you've heard of the slit experiment.
Oh, yeah,
With
absolutely.
the atoms.
Yeah. And if there is no observer, is there an observed?
Yeah. So then you have the observer effect. And this is really in the heart of, what physics is.
Yeah.
But observing a situation or a phenomenon changes that situation or phenomenon. So, yeah.
Just by observing it.
Yeah.
And you can change it into something different than I can change it into.
Yeah. I don't think we need to explain the double split.
No.
double
That's for
slit
another
experiment.
show.
Yeah, that's for another show. We can.
Yeah, but look it up,
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, if you're listening, look it up.
Yeah. So then we can almost kind of define, what maybe a matrix is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, Max
Other-
Planck.
Yes, Max Planck.
Yeah.
I guess is he the father of
Yeah. It'd be the father of this matrix that he called
quantum matrix?
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
something
matrix of
within
consciousness, and also the inspiration behind the films as well, the Matrix series.
probably ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Something. The matrix is something within or from which something else originates, develops, or takes form. And you could think it could almost be like a grid. That's what most people think. It's kind of like a grid, but then again, it's an illusion.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Because it's not really solid right here. It's something
It's unseen.
It's in the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also
Unseen.
called the field.
The field,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what Max would call it, the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
And he said that everything is integrated into the matrix.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
So, and
There's
again,
that thing again.
and then that field
Right.
or that grid,
Yeah.
quite possibly is just some kind of energy.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Good,
look
bad,
at
or
it. network, a computer network,
Yeah.
or even Wi-Fi. If you are connecting wirelessly to a network, there's something in the air that you're using to connect to that piece of gear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even with radio, we say, well, they're on the air. Well, the air is actually a part of that field
Yeah.
that conducts this energy and passes it on to everyone.
We've discussed how energy is always here and always will be.
Yeah.
So it's just flowing and moving.
Yep. Can't be
And creating.
created, can't be destroyed. This is what Einstein told us, and it still holds true
Right.
to the best of our knowledge.
So is this all in our mind, though? I mean, could it be? Could you really and not be there?
Here.
Or here, wherever that might be. Yeah, and where is here?
Yeah, that's the interesting part.
That is
you know,
really, because you
in
can
the
have
map
reality,
of the
but then-
universe, where do you stick the pen?
Right.
Yeah.
Because when I go to the mall, I know where I'm at because it has,
It has
a star and
a
says
little
you
arrow.
are here. But when I'm not at the mall, I have no idea where I'm at.
Right, but the thing still says you are here.
That's right. It's
So
always
how
saying
confusing
that.
is that?
And it's always saying that to everybody.
Right,
Fascinating.
isn't it?
Yeah. So maybe I'm still there.
You might be.
Or maybe I was never there.
Or you left your DNA all over the place there and it still thinks you're there.
Or maybe everything is just happening at the same time, at the same moment, and we never really even go anywhere.
No, and,
It's all just
and
an
time
illusion of-
allows us to keep from having it all crash together into a big pile.
Right. And when we talked about dreams in another show, sometimes when we're dreaming, we feel like maybe this is even our reality.
Well, the mind and the actual functions of the body don't know the difference between the dream state or what's called reality. Maybe one is the other and the other is the one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a very interesting philosophical idea out there, a philosophy of reality, and
Right.
it's called solipsism.
Wow.
Solipsism.
Got me on that one.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it.
Well, I can't tell if you are or not because I don't know what
It's
this
the
is.
philosophical idea that only one's mind is sure to exist. That's it. Existence of an independent entity. So literally all this is happening for you.
Yeah.
Everything else, everybody else, everything is literally a stage or a set.
Yeah, it's just kind
And-
of like the law of mentalism, where everything is mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is literally, it's all you.
Yeah.
But then everybody has it, and that's occurring individually. I think this could be dangerous because I really believe that there's too much of a connection between, and I feel it, between other people
Yeah.
and things.
Yeah.
I feel more of a oneness instead of this. So I kind of don't really subscribe to this philosophy.
Yeah, it seems like that's more leaning towards a universe rather than a universe.
Right. And possibly that universe is filled with multiple dimensions of reality. I kind of like that better.
Yeah.
Meaning, all at the same time, everything's happening, and then maybe one reality comes about through how we are interacting with our environment.
Yeah.
And that again is a heavy thought. If literally you are creating this reality, the power of what you think, your thoughts, and it comes into light that really trying to stay positive and understand that hey, things can get tough, but everything can be okay in the end if you know it's going to be okay. So that's the reality.
Sure.
Some people,
and the polarity of it is if things are tough, then things can also be untough.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just a bowl of fish swimming around in this thing.
But
called
where's the
universe.
bowl?
and is the water real or yeah.
Oh, the water's always real.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't
Okay. Hey, quick little note here, a side note, because we do have to look at stuff over the course of time because science
Sure.
does that, and then they change their mind, and that's awesome. That's what I love about science. They, they test stuff and they try it out and see, how this works and how if it sticks to the wall or not.
Yeah, and when it doesn't work the way they want it to, they just rewrite the books. But go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. It works that way.
So-
Quantum physics, which we touched on earlier, actually started around the early 1900s, and it made it clear that light is made of tiny indivisible units or quanta, of energy, which we call photons, right? So essentially, this quantum world is influenced by our human consciousness, okay, giving our minds an agency and a place in the what's called ontology, which is the metaphysical nature of being of the universe. So much in the same place that you were just talking about, the observer versus the observed, and this universe versus the universe, and all of that. We now have come to an understanding in the quantum realm rather than Newtonian realm that everything is light.
You sound really smart.
Thanks. It's an illusion. Or
You
it's
mentioned the
reality.
word ontology.
Ontology, yes.
Yeah, that is an interesting word.
It is.
Yeah. Do you have a definition for that?
Metaphysical nature of being.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because that came up too.
Did it?
Oh yeah, that word. Yeah, it popped up.
Because when we look at these things, it's very interesting because you brought up Max Planck, or I think he actually pronounced it Max. So Max Planck.
Well, you bring up Max Planck.
Max Planck and Albert Einstein
Like
were
you know
very
him
good
on
friends.
a first name basis.
Yeah. Well, these guys knew each other on a first name basis.
Yeah.
So Einstein and Planck were very good friends, right? And they made
Well,
this.
Einstein is his last name, so it's not first name basis.
Okay, so
Albert.
they're on a last name basis. Yeah, a little less.
Planck and Einstein.
A little less warm. Yeah.
I'm just a jokester today.
It's
I'm
okay,
sorry.
joke away.
Yeah.
They made this like profound discovery in modern physics, this quantum theory, right? Showing that from purely formal mathematical foundations, light must be emitted and absorbed in discrete amounts if it's to correctly describe what is that observed phenomena that you were talking about. This chair, these things that we see, and light has to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So as well as darkness. But the power that's there is the light.
Yin and yang.
Yes,
All one
yin and yang, right.
process. So as we move forward, another slant on reality is the holographic nature of existence, right?
Yeah.
And this kind of plays into a little bit of the Matrix.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
sort of a projection.
Yeah, it's a projection. It could be almost like a movie
Yeah,
that we're in.
yeah. We're watching the screen, but the actual
You're an
everything's coming
active
from the
observer.
light. Yeah, everything's coming from the light in the back of the room,
Yeah.
coming through that pinhole.
But in a holographic nature, then again, this gets back to where, we know that there's nothing there. If the atoms are nothing, but this really supports the fact that if the solidity of items is not really existing, then maybe this is just a complete holographic experience, and that matter just does not really exist.
yeah, experience and experiment.
Yeah, and substance of the universe then is all consciousness. Yeah. So then behavior
Yes.
is most important. What you think, how you react, how you handle yourself in everything you do. You talk about being a conscious being.
Yes.
What does that mean? I mean, that's a responsible thought.
Yeah.
Most people would say, "Oh, I'm conscious about things," but then reality sometimes gets the best of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being a conscious being is that we really need to look at, that too, being, that you are directly connected to the vibe that is consciousness, or are you consciously awake within that vibe that is consciousness, or both?
Again, you're sounding really smart.
Thank you.
So, but maybe this is all a computer code.
We find
Ones
the
and zeros.
architect in here somewhere.
Yeah. So now we are getting to the architect, because this is any way you boil it down.
Yeah.
When we quantify things,
Right.
Even though there's nothing there to that chair, everything on a microscopic level is patterns and fractals. Yeah. So there's a pattern. There's literally a fingerprint of intellectual design.
Yep.
To everything.
An archetype.
An archetype or an architect.
Or an
Both.
architect. Yeah.
And personally, my thought on that is God. God is the architect
or
of
what,
everything.
or what we call God.
Or what we call God. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, again, not necessarily talking about God in the truest religious sense,
Yeah.
but God as being a connectivity
Yeah.
of consciousness.
Yeah.
So, and I like to call it God
Sure.
because that makes me feel warm
Yeah, I like
and
it.
happy.
Works
and
for me.
and there's a goodness to it then.
Mm-hmm.
And God backwards is dog, and I love dogs. So that's
Dogs are awesome.
that's my reality.
Yeah, dogs are the closest thing
take
to
it
God,
away from me.
you know, when it comes to so many things. So
They
that,
are.
That works very well.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
except for your vicious animals.
Oh my God, I don't even talk about them.
10 pounds of just terror.
They will
my gosh.
take your Achilles heel and remove it.
Luckily, they're not bigger because they would take more than your Achilles heel if they could reach something higher. Horrible.
Exactly. You know, like a knee.
Yeah. Well,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
or like a knee.
Like a knee.
Or an elbow.
So
But
this
reality
this
is-
fiber, this go ahead with what, because this
Yeah,
is very
well,
interesting.
no, if you mentioned fiber, but reality is built out of this thought.
Yeah.
And every thought begins to create reality. See how it kind of comes full circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, that's how philosophers talk.
Yeah.
So that's how we talk.
Yeah. And it's also cause and effect. You know.
Yes.
Now, of course, with the quantum world, it's more like causing effect. You know.
Yeah.
And that's what I really find fascinating about all of this, because until recently, we really didn't know so much of this, though the ancients tried to tell us.
Yeah. What's amazing is there's not much information on this. A lot of speculation, but science has tried to quantify this, put this in a tight little, package
Yeah.
for us to digest. But it hasn't been going on for a long time.
No, not at all.
No.
Not in the
And we're
grand scheme
really,
of things.
for all we know, we're still on the precipice of understanding any of this.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that, we're getting a handle of it.
Yeah.
But these are big questions. Imagine, you hear all the news and everything going on in the world.
Yeah.
Everyone should just step back and pause for a second and say, what is reality? And maybe through that mass consciousness, we would find out. But everyone's just too busy running around doing this, worrying about the next thing, and not living in the moment and understanding, hey, maybe we need to slow this thing down.
Yeah. And this is very serious. I
Well,
don't know
yeah.
that anything has been taken this seriously. I mean, look at the Hadron Collider at CERN. We're talking about massive amounts of money and concentration.
Well, I think
in
you're
minds and science.
playing with, you're playing with matches.
Of course, in a gas tanker.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was thinking you're playing with, matches and with the world.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not a good combination.
No,
I mean, if
but-
people really want to
But
find
this
out.
is how serious they are.
Yeah.
They being, collective science.
I truly-
to find answers.
I truly believe, and I'm not a CERN scientist,
Yeah.
but couldn't we find the answers to everything, reality and everything, life? Don't you think those answers are within us
Yeah.
as opposed to something external? How does a $1 billion external machine tell us much more about our reality? So maybe it splits the atom, or it makes two atoms come together and create so much energy.
Yeah.
But where's that going? And what's it for? And is it really beneficial? And is it step in step with goodness?
Right.
You want me to slow down here?
No, I'm loving it.
I'm
loving
going
it.
off, man, because I
No.
just
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. The level of intelligence required to operate this thing is absurd. You know that. It's huge, right? So we know.
I hear they have 2 cats.
They might have at least 2. And when cats they're brilliant because
No, they are.
They never forgot that they were once God. So they still live that way. But what I'm saying is, no matter how, we split that atom again, we split it again, we split it again, we split it again, we split it. It's been proven that as long as we're there to observe it, there's always going to be a next step.
Right. And
we're creating it.
and
Each
the
time we split it, we create a whole new split.
Yeah, I apologize for cutting you off
No,
there.
no,
but,
go ahead.
But the observers also of these experiments are affecting the experiment.
Absolutely.
They have billions of dollars behind their experimentation, and everything rides on the next grant, this and that, and that they sound smart in some publication.
Yeah.
So guess what? They're going to pretty much tell you what they think they already know,
Right.
as opposed to finding out things and then maybe going, oh, you know what? Hey, we're pretty dumb. We were dead wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because you can't really spend $1 billion and go, geez, that didn't work.
yeah, well,
You got to come up with something.
Yeah.
There has to be something on the table.
that's why the laboratory's not on Main Street.
right.
It's hidden somewhere.
It's also 7 miles, something like that.
Yeah.
This whole hadron collider. It's insane. But anyway,
Imagine how many people you could feed with that. But
Yeah.
maybe they think they're doing good. I don't know.
they might be.
Yeah,
Who knows?
but we know their logo has 666 on it, so
Of
that's all we
course.
need to say.
It has to. So go ahead, my friend.
Always question things.
Always.
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 Try to let go of things, of controlling thoughts,
Mhm.
and hopefully you can experience a better reality. Reality is tough. Whew. Reality's in step with life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people say, "Ugh, just not liking my reality." Well, you can change it.
Yeah.
You can't change everything in that reality,
No.
but you can change your environment, and most importantly, you can change your thought process.
You can change the process. Exactly.
Being positive is most difficult, especially at trying times.
Yeah.
We've all been through it.
Yeah.
I mean, as I go through life and I interact with people, everybody has something,
Yeah.
that they're dealing with.
Yeah. Nobody's immune.
No, nobody's immune. Everybody's
No matter how much money you have, no matter how big your house is, if you've got a
Right.
H1 or 2 or 3,
So
there's still issues.
Yeah. So everyone would say, "What reality would you like?"
Mm.
Well, and for me, it's simplicity.
Yeah.
I always say, keep things simple, uncomplicated.
Yep.
People don't realize the value in that. Some people want the busy, have to be there, doing a million things.
Yeah.
And maybe you're accomplishing something, but is that the full goal of why you're here?
Yeah.
We may be distracted to the point where we think everything that we touch and everything we create is in this 3D world is the point.
Yeah.
When maybe it's to educate our consciousness,
Mhm.
and in that way, our reality, whether it be in this life or the next,
Yeah.
grows.
Yeah. It's discovery and revelation.
Discovery and
Re-
revelation.
revealing that which was once hidden, and and it has to be in our hands.
Is that the quote you told me the other day? I told you to write it down.
No, but revelation literally means, it's coming from, like, for example, biblically, the book of Revelation, which is the apocalypse of John. Well, apocalypse is from the Greek apokalypsis, right, which literally means an unveiling or an uncovering or a revealing of something that at one time was once hidden. So that's what a revelation is, and that's what an apocalypse is. It's not the end of the world.
I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of revelations coming up. They didn't. It wasn't by accident that the last book of the Bible is Revelations.
No, nothing's by accident.
So that should tell you something. Now, are we in the last book of the Bible? Who knows if our reality, where we are in the scheme of things, but
Yeah, that's for another show. We could do a whole show on Revelation. That would be fun.
that would be.
Yeah, that would be a blast.
I'm going to have to read up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I can show you where to find it.
Sure. I think I know where to look.
Can I just throw a couple of quotes in here real quick, and then you move
Don't
right on to
say,
your next
can
section?
I? Just say, I am.
Okay, I just love these.
Okay.
am. Yeah, I love that. Nice poke at reality there.
Sure.
So Einstein once said, humanity is going to need a substantially new way of thinking if it is to survive. See, this is right in line with what you were saying about thinking, right? And Max Planck once said, as a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you, as a result of my research about the atoms, this much. And he says, there is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particles of an atom to the vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter.
Right. I've heard that quote before.
I love it.
Yes.
And it vibes.
It so
with me.
eloquently just packages it nicely.
Yeah, it just vibes with me. I mean,
It does.
You just have this guy who has devoted his entire life to the study of this, just basically throwing his arms up and saying, listen, there's something else out there.
And I think Einstein, at the end of his life, kind of came to the same conclusion, although they kind of, uh, th- they hide that.
Sure.
They don't really talk much about what Einstein finally came to the conclusion.
Yeah.
That, there is some effect of the observer on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And here, this is a, hardcore scientist
Yeah,
telling us about.
And this division and separation which
Energy.
exists, it's illusory, but it does exist between science and spirituality.
Right.
When in reality, whatever that means,
There you go.
Yeah, in reality, the two have everything to do with each other.
Sure, yeah.
You
Well,
know?
look at you throwing out quotes. That's what I usually do, but I love it. That's
Okay, good.
Because I got some quotes here too.
Go for it.
Maybe not
I'm ready.
quite as profound, but they're still.
Or profounder. We
Or
love to
dumber,
make
dumber.
up words too. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Jim Carrey.
Yeah, man.
So I like this quote. I don't know. I don't know if I. I mean, I understand it, and I throw it at people sometimes. But Ayn Rand.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So whether you like her or not,
Yeah.
you can avoid reality, but you can't avoid or evade the consequences of avoiding reality, and that's kind of so true.
Yeah.
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 So
You can
that's
avoid-
that's
you-
the hard pill,
You can ignore that it's raining, but if you go for a walk, you're going to get wet.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we put things out of sight, out of mind,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't want it to be a part of our reality. So we ignore. And I believe this is a defense mechanism. We all do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, it does work a little bit because, if it's
For a little while.
for a little while, well, yeah, until things change.
Right. Or
Yeah.
until someone changes things.
Exactly. Here's a guy you like, Alan Watts. We can't go, yeah. Okay.
of
So
course.
reality is merely an illusion. I'll bet a very persistent one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are a little bit different, takes on reality.
I
than
could see him with a bottle of bourbon, a cigarette, sitting on his houseboat.
Yes, reality is merely illusion. I'll bet a very persistent one. That's not really how he talks, but yeah,
Yeah, but after so much bourbon, he might.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. What a life.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a brilliant man.
Short and brilliant.
Yeah. And by the way, just real quick, a plug for Alan Watts. If those
like
who
he
are
needs
listening,
plugs.
well, if those who are listening have not heard of Alan Watts, please.
Go bury your head into the ground.
Yeah,
Because
you're missing out. Brilliant man.
Probably missing out on some of the greatest words spoken from a modern philosopher.
Yeah, and someone
Yeah.
who actually had the brilliance to record all of his talks.
Like what we're doing.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
We're
so
copycats.
And Alan passed away, I think, in 1972 or 73, something like that. But he left behind this in like 40 books and tons of recordings.
What I find just truly amazing is the timelessness of everything that he talks about.
Yeah.
It is germane today as it was back when he was doing these talks, and he did them through the 50s, 60s, and early 70s.
Yeah.
So that just shows you, when truth and real truth hits you, it resonates.
Oh yeah.
And it's timeless.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to bring here. We're not playing around here. This is some serious stuff.
Absolutely.
If you're on board, not everybody is. A lot of people just want to ignore reality.
Right. And ignore comes from ignorant.
Right.
So
And the
just
thing
true.
is that you may ignore reality, and you may think you're having a wonderful life. Again, those that have feel like they're old souls that have reincarnated, that have been here before, and this is not. Don't take this too lightly. In that there has to be more. We have too much going on with us to think that this is just a
Playground.
one-stop shop. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a calling for some.
So what is the point then?
Yeah.
If you don't look at this.
Yeah. The point becomes pointless.
Yeah.
You literally have to
And maybe you go through a life where you just who knows?
go through the motions.
Yeah, you go through the
But
motions.
guess what? You're going to have to do it again. So listen,
Yeah.
if you're going to do it again, or you're going to do it this time, or you're going to do it 1,000 more times, you might as well learn along the way. You know, the quote that you mentioned earlier that I mentioned to you yesterday when we were talking, Neil Donald Walsh was
Glad it wasn't Neil
yeah,
Diamond.
Neil Diamond, yeah. Neil Donald Walsh, in his Conversations with God, Book 1, which I suggest that everyone on earth read that book. It's absolutely amazing. But he's talking to God and asks the question, basically, why am I here?
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And God responds with, you are, or I am, experiencing life with you, through you, and as you.
That's the quote I like.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to hear that.
Yeah. So this is
Say it
where
again.
I am experiencing life through you, with you, and as you.
Okay.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
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 And it makes so much more sense because God, however we've defined this force,
Yeah.
is unseen. It is spirit. And in order to have an experience in this realm of matter, it must be done through us. So this life, okay, it isn't my life, it isn't your life, it's just life, you know.
With a capital L.
Yeah, like consciousness, okay,
Yeah.
is that source energy
Source energy.
manifesting
Yeah.
for the expansion of the great universal library.
Wow. And that source energy comes from it.
Yes,
Yeah. The works.
right.
Yeah. It's the center of all of this.
Yeah.
And again, that could just be you
Mm-hmm.
and your consciousness.
Yeah, it's this vortex,
Yeah.
but everything gets thrown out of, but not in a bad way. You know, it's this emanation from, going back to what we said earlier, from nothing to something.
Yeah.
And so many people would say, well, again, I said it earlier, but you can't get something from nothing. But yes, you can.
I did have one more quote, but you literally already did it.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
Well, I mean, all matter originates and exists only by the virtue of force. We're
Okay, there you
So-
go. Well, see, we're right on this. Right
Well,
on
yeah,
track.
yeah. Could you? Do you even have to, even second guess that we're gonna come to terms and
Yeah,
and
of course.
put out the same
That's
kind
why
of
we
stuff?
do this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'll go somewhere else and give you another quote.
That would be awesome because we're 45 minutes into this thing and we still haven't defined reality yet. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, I didn't say I had anything. This was
Yeah, I
a
know.
little poem. No, it's about a dog. No, I was gonna go a little bit more into the holographic nature of
Yeah,
things.
that'd be awesome.
Because I believe life is a lot different than what we're told or what we're taught. Your parents, your mentors, just tell you kind of the way it is. Who's to say that's the way
Or the
it's
way
supposed
they
to be?
perceive it to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is from. We're going to just come out and today's the day we're going to put out the title of a book that you and I like a lot. It's by Adam Cohen.
Mhm.
The title of the book is called Superconscious Holographic Expialidocious.
Yes.
Wow. And then the subtitle is Modern Teachings of Life.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, this is a book
Buy
that
this-
possesses
buy
so
this
many.
book.
Yeah. Well, find it, buy it, whatever you can.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And when I go back and read it again and again,
Yeah.
it speaks to me on so many different levels. Every time, and I'm not going to say it's like a Bible or anything, but it's a book that was written, I believe, with pure love, and it's a book of the future.
Yeah.
So those who are not ready will read it, probably not understand it, and not accept its teachings.
Yeah.
They'll kind of get it, and they're going, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense," but
Yeah.
they're not getting it.
Yeah, but
that's
then
their
it'll,
reality.
Then it'll go on the shelf, and then
Who knows?
3 or 5 years later, when they're ready, they'll go to it again.
If they're ready,
Yeah.
if and when. Okay, so this is holographic book 16. The entire universe and our existence here on Earth is a holographic projection, which we all are a part of creating through our 5 senses. Quantum physics tells us that our reality is all conscience, and there is no solidity to this existence, and all matter is an illusion. The reality seems so real, yet it is not. But we still have not progressed to the point of completely knowing what our true description of our existence or reality is, and have traded one set of false understandings for another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this book. You could literally just open it up anywhere, stick your finger on a page, and pull out a quote.
It's not a book that needs to be read necessarily from beginning to end, because
Or it's actually one of those books where you could just pick a chapter.
Yeah,
and read the chapter.
It's
They're
full
really
of
not particularly connected.
There's 33 books, which again, the 33 is kind of telling.
Yeah.
They're called books, not chapters, because they're all kind of. But you can literally go into this book of books and open it up anywhere, and extract something. It does have some alternate kind of thinking, but maybe that's what we need nowadays.
Yeah.
Too many people are following the path of others, and I think a lot of people are just walking over the cliff, and just like sheeple, they're just, hey, let's follow him.
Right.
He knows,
Yep.
but he may not.
Too many following and not enough leading.
Yeah, and the only way you can lead and take back possession of your life and your reality is to do so.
Yeah.
Say, I'm going to take this back. I want, or I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then you describe exactly where you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay to
I
take
am
it back.
full. I am complete. I am happy.
Yeah.
I am here. I want to experience things. And even if the road ahead may have some serious bumps,
Potholes.
and a stop sign or whatever,
Right.
I'm going home.
Yeah.
I am driving home, and I'm going to be there one day. And that home, for me, my reality, is my happy place.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going. So don't stop me.
Right.
I'm going to get there.
Yeah. You go to your happy place, I'm going to mine.
And
And
along
guess
the
what?
way,
We'll both
bring
be there.
anybody that wants to join in.
Yeah.
There's room for everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's like a caravan.
Yeah. Only.
Or just a really big minivan.
yeah.
Where
Right.
it fit everybody in.
You got to use diesel fuel though.
Sure.
Another
Because
quote.
Okay, you got another question?
Yeah, just real quick.
Sure, man.
Another thing that I want to run by when I
A
was
thing or no thing?
Yeah, both. By understanding, this comes also from Einsteinian thoughts, if that's a word. By understanding
is now.
how we and everything around us are interconnected in space, we can then deduce solutions to the fundamental problems of human knowledge in physics, philosophy, metaphysics, theology, education, health, evolution, theology, ecology, politics, society, all of these things, right? Because it just goes across the board. So this is a profound new way of thinking that Albert Einstein had realized in his day, that we exist as spatially extended structures of the universe as a whole, okay? The discrete and separate body of an illusion.
Wow.
See, this simply confirms the intuitions of ancient philosophers and ancient mystics that you and I have studied for so many years, so many decades, that we are just now, through quantum mechanics and quantum physics,
Right.
coming to a proof knowledge, which is what the word science means, proof knowledge, of what they already knew hundreds of thousands of years ago.
I believe that a lot of this information, knowledge, has been lost.
Yeah.
Maybe on purpose.
On purpose, yeah, or hidden.
Oh, we
Yep.
just, hey.
Oh,
It's like we
yeah.
can't go to the moon anymore. Why? Where you lost the
Right.
telemetry, the technology.
Yeah.
Oh, we just lost what the point of life is in reality.
Yeah, we just can't go there. And then they expect us to believe that they destroyed all the plans for the SST, and they did this. Nobody destroys things that they
No,
that
nobody
they
records
discover.
over stuff. So this
Right.
is just, this is reality with a big splash of cold water in our face.
Exactly. So as we begin to sort of
Conclude here.
wind down this whole thing,
Yeah.
do you have a personal opinion on what reality
Oh,
is?
you're asking me a question.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
what reality is.
Well, I do. I have this quote directly from God.
Okay. I'm ready.
No, I wish I did.
Yeah.
I
So-
wish he would give me a quote.
That would be so much easier.
It'd be, yeah, come on, God,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
I just want the point of all this. Where are we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my take on it.
Okay.
And this is a tough one.
Yeah.
Because I so buy into the reality of this existence, but I so don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, I keep looking for home.
Yeah.
I'd like to think, and I've come to somewhat of a conclusion, that this is all pretty much an illusion, that none of this is real, as hard as it seems. Because why would God put you through a lifetime, for some people, of misery?
Yeah.
He wouldn't.
Right.
He would put you through a lifetime of teaching, experience, takeaways, to make your soul a complete soul.
Yeah.
We're looking for completion. We're looking for a reality that is one with everything, everyone, God, and the universe.
Right.
And you can't get there, and you can't be a part of it if you are unwilling to go through these teachings.
Right.
And sometimes reality is beautiful moments. Sometimes they're tough moments. But hey, that is reality of it.
Yeah.
And it's very hard. We always want to, as I finish up on my end, I find myself wanting to go back. And this is the toughest part about reality. And I bet everybody listening will agree with me. The toughest part about reality, at least in this world, is we can't go back.
Yeah.
You can't go back to that date and change something. Some people say you can go to the
Akashic record.
the Akashic records,
Yeah, the Book of Life.
and possibly, but I don't know too much about that, and I'm going to research that. But the tough part of reality is that you're just faced with that each day. So here's a little bit of advice, if it helps. Take each day one at a time. Try to find the joy and happiness and extract that, and try to be positive no matter what's thrown at you. It's the most difficult thing, but you can't go back to that date or change that thing or unmeet that person that you had a relationship with.
Right, or unsee something.
Yeah, or, we all experience
Or unlearn
relatives,
something. It's so hard to unlearn something.
friends and relatives passing away, or even your dog. Losing a dog is very tough, but we cherish those moments that you have, and then just try to take with you the lessons and the teachings moving forward, and hope that collectively we're all going to be there.
Yeah.
And go home.
Yeah. Awesome.
To a beautiful
To
utopia and reality.
Wholeness.
Yeah.
Holiness.
Holiness.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you got?
What do I got? I don't know. I'm thinking probably, and thinking is dangerous. You know that. We both agree at times.
But see, we're just talking here, and we are thinking, and I'm not trying to manifest anything good or bad here. We're just talking.
Right. So each one of us, on average, has about 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. This is what we're told.
Wow.
And of those thoughts, approximately 90% of them are the same thoughts we had yesterday, and the day before, and the day before, and the day before.
Guess what? You're programmed.
Right. And so, bringing Einstein up again, I believe that he was credited with saying you can't change the direction you're going by having the same thoughts that you had yesterday, or something similar to that. Okay. So what we have to do, and like you just said, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, we can't go backwards. It's difficult. We can't go back. But what we can do is rewrite the direction that we're going in. And if there was an experience that was, to us, in our perception and our personal experience of it, was not good or not pleasant, then we learn from it and move forward and apply that lesson learned to upcoming future experiences. Yes. Okay.
And may I interject?
Yeah, yes.
And then, therefore, in a better mental state to handle these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Because sooner or at one time or another, somebody had to figure out that thing over there is hot. And if I touch it, I'm going to burn myself. So they do, and then they don't do it again, But if it wasn't there to begin with, they wouldn't have that knowledge. So all
Learned
these
experience.
Right. So all these experiences we have, there's a takeaway in all of it, right? Yeah. And I thoroughly believe that this reality that we're talking about today, that we have the ability to actually create our own reality, and in limited portions, and then name it whatever we want to name it. Okay, in a way, reality can be seen, at least by my view of it, it can be seen almost as an experiential event. So if I experience something, to me it was very real. If I fall down the steps and hurt myself, to me that's very real. It's my current reality. It might not be yours, it might not be anybody else's, but who says reality has to be the same for everyone? Maybe we do have our own individual reality.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wouldn't be realities because it's tied to the Matrix, but all of this stuff that's going on every day. I said earlier, are we just fish in a bowl? But in reality, while you and I are sitting here talking, there are 7 billion people having different experiences at this very same moment, right? Worldwide, and who knows throughout the entire universe. So hey. At the end of all of this and this discussion of reality, my true answer to this is I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel any better talking about this? Though?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a falsity that we think we can actually come up with an answer. But
my answer really wasn't an answer either because it's so difficult to define.
Yeah, and I think it's
But-
by default it's elusive.
Yeah. But we attempted,
Yeah.
and we went through the different schools of thought on reality
Yeah.
and philosophy, and who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we won't know until our story's complete.
Yeah,
You see what
until
I'm saying?
yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
there is this mission, okay?
Yeah.
This universal mission that we're on, all of us, on this ride. And ultimately, as you mentioned earlier, it's a mission to wholeness.
Yeah.
You know?
I will leave you with this beautiful thought, though.
Please.
I thought I had the time where I experienced what I call ultimate reality. And that's through experience a situation where I thought I was dying, and through that experience, I realized, well, I can't say that it's nothing to be taken lightly, of course, but what I saw, and I share this with everyone, it's a beautiful place. Trust me.
Yeah. Or state.
It's utopia.
Yeah.
And life, reality, just roll with it, do the best you can.
Yeah.
I believe the school of thought here is you get what you put out. So, and then sometimes, even if you're the best person and you put out love, unconditional love, and you do everything right, you're still going to be thrown a curveball.
Yeah, because there's somebody else that's not doing it.
Right. And that's part of your reality, and that if life was just, frivolous and it wasn't to be taken completely serious, you wouldn't really take any of it and learn anything. Though I truly believe that our natural condition is we're here to play.
Yeah.
And play, you got to go to work and everything, but there's no one telling you that it cannot be enjoyable.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So make your reality good, positive thoughts, all those
magical words: appreciation, compassion, caring. All that stuff.
Yeah.
If everybody would do that, then we would get closer to the end game.
Right. And a beautiful utopian reality for everyone.
Yeah.
And most importantly, for yourself and the people around you.
It's coming. It's in the plan.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
You've been listening to Quantum Flow Radio. Email us online at quantumflowradio@gmail.com.